The views on a Breath of Fresh Air podcast reflects the parties involved, and we encourage you all to use it as a conversational tool that will lead to personal studies of your own.
Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah.
Welcome to a Breath of Fresh Air podcast. Here with your hosts, Earl Roberts and Nakhaz Gay. As a young person, Christianity can be so foggy, like smoke in the mirrors and so unclear. But we're here to bring you a breath of fresh air. All right, servants, let's saddle up these donkeys and we can head out.
Huh? Is that an angel? That's an angel with a sword. I gotta avoid it.
What's going on with this donkey? Yo, get back on the path. Money, donkey. You know what you're doing, man.
Why is he beating me? Didn't he see that angel right there? Anyway, I guess I gotta do something different. But this angel is back. He's in front of us again. I gotta move. I gotta be quick.
Man, no, get us my foot, man.
He's beating me again? What's wrong with this man? Well, at least the angel went away this time. Oh no, he's back. This angel is following us, but there's nowhere to go. And I can't mash his foot again because he's gonna beat me. So I'll just lay down.
Donkey, we gotta go, man. I gotta get to Moab. I'm trying to make this money. Why you laying down? Money, what's wrong with you? What's getting into you today, man? You need to move. Donkey, just go, man. Just go.
The boy beat me again. No, that's enough. I gotta say something now. Balaam! What'd I do to you for you to hit me these 3 times?
You have made a fool of me. If I had a sword in my hand, I'd kill you right now.
Balaam, let's be reasonable about this. Am I not the same donkey you had all your life? Have I ever acted like this before?
Why have you beaten your donkey these 3 times? I have come here to oppose you because your path is a reckless one before me. The donkey saw me and turned away from me these 3 times. If it had not turned away, I would have certainly killed you by now, but I would have spared it.
I have sinned. I did not realize you were standing in the road to oppose me. Now if you are displeased, I will go back.
Go with the man, but speak only what I tell you.
What does it profit a man to gain the whole world but to lose his soul? Balaam was a well-known prophet who knew the one true God and listened to his direction. However, even while being a prophet, Balaam was human and not perfect. In this chapter, we are dissecting the story of Balaam in Numbers 23 through 25. Be blessed.
All right, welcome back to another episode of A Breath of Fresh Air. And even before we start, right? So for me, this week has been a challenging week, but God has brought me through. And I'm sure everyone out there listening has gone through their own trials and tribulations and their struggles this week, no matter how great or how small. We all go through stuff. And you know what's funny? Even for me this week, I realized like God was just talking to me through different texts, through different things on social media, and just reminded me of a lot of his promises. So like, just for example, like in Romans 8:31, if God is for us, who can ever be against us? We see in Hebrews 10:35, so do not throw away this confident trust in the Lord. Remember the great reward it brings you. And to me, it was just reassuring knowing that even though we face all of these things, God gave us many promises in the Bible. And it's so funny. I even found myself like the children of Israel, like we kind of rag on them and saying, how could they be so stubborn? But then I was like, how much things has God brought me through in my life? I just had to stop and think like, oh yeah, God did bring me through this. Oh yeah, God did bring me through this. Oh yeah, that, I thought that was going to be bad, but it didn't turn out so bad after all. And I'm like, wow, I'm here talking about the children of Israel. And even though I say like, oh yeah, sometimes I see myself like them, it just registered to me like how quick we are to forget how good God has been to us when we're smack dab in front of like an obstacle or a challenge. We get so quick to doubt God again. We get so quick to feel discouraged, get disheartened. But yeah, I mean, God's like, if I brought you through all of these things, why do you think this time is going to be any different? And that just sat so heavy on my mind this week. Like, oh wow, like God really brought me through all of these things. Why am I feeling so discouraged right now? Why am I feeling so disheartened? And so just encouragement. And then it also ties into what we're talking about this week. In Numbers, was it 23? In Numbers 23, we see a common line, or not a common line, but a well-known line. God is not a man that he should lie. Mm-hmm. And so we have all of these promises in the Bible, all of these affirmations and encouragement. And God already said, I am not a man that I should lie. Why do we think this time, this circumstance is going to be any different? If God has brought us this far, if he has already brought us through our Exodus experience, our mountaintop experience, why do we think that whatever we're facing right now, God can't bring us through? So that's just my little opening monologue, my little encouragement for everyone today. And I mean, I guess you've already seen the title and I already kind of gave it away, but this week we are exploring a story that starts off in Numbers 22, and it's the story of Balak and Balaam. And this is a story we've been waiting for in a little while to get to. Ever since we realized Exodus got a little slow there, we were like, oh yeah, we need to get to Balaam.
Yeah, pretty funny guy, that Balaam.
We need to make it to Balaam.
And Balaam, well, we're not gonna spoil it right now, but Balaam has one of the most unique stories in the Bible. Something that this thing that happened to Balaam, I don't think it's happened to anyone else. Honestly, and it's super funny. Like, the guy is an interesting guy. He appears not to be an Israelite, but he's very familiar with God and stuff. And it's just like
very familiar. And
you know what I'm saying? And I'm just like,
and that's the next thing what got me too, because a lot of people when they tell this story, they make Balaam sound like he was like a pagan person completely. Like he didn't know who God was. He didn't never talk to God. He just was like trying so hell bent on doing wrong.
Yeah.
But I'm like, no, when you read the Bible, you're like, no, this guy actually had a relationship with God.
Yeah.
Like he knew who God was.
Yeah. Very well. Like, and he spoke to God. Like.
Yeah. So it was interesting because I had a completely different perception of who Balaam was before I actually read it for myself.
Well, without further ado, we could get into it. Numbers 22.
Numbers 22, and then just for a quick background, so now we remember in the book of Numbers, it's essentially a travelogue, and so right now we have already saw the Israelites left from Sinai. They traveled through the desert. Along the way, they got disheartened and discouraged, so God said, all right, this generation, since y'all feel like y'all can't conquer Canaan, guess what? Y'all ain't gonna conquer Canaan. Nope. Your children are gonna be the ones who actually inherit the land. And so they had to go, in the desert for 40 years. They kind of was sad by the news. So they say, you know what? Oh yeah, we could conquer the land now. And Moses was like, don't do that. God's not on your side. They say, well, what we got to lose, Earl paraphrasing here, but what do we got to lose? They got wiped out. Then, yeah. Then we had some other rebellions pop up, but with Korah's rebellion, who is also like Moses' cousin, also a Levite, said, hey, like, Moses, what makes you any better than us? Korah also, the earth swallowed up and devoured him whole. Mm-hmm. And some other people who, still felt like they needed to rebel. God sent a plague of snakes on them and they look upon the bronze snake and live. But now we see the 40 years journey is kind of getting wrapped up when they're back on their way back to the promised land. As we are in the book of Numbers, they had to go around Moab. Or was it Midian? Anyway, they had to go around the city, and now they're on the borders of Moab, and they're settling right outside the city right now, just setting up camp. And so this is kind of where the story picks up here in Numbers 22. So 22 verse 1, the Israelites traveled to the plains of Moab and camped alongside Jordan across from Jericho. Now Balak, son of Zippor, saw what all the Israelites had done to the Amorites. And Moab was terrified because there were so many people. Indeed, Moab was filled with dread because of the Israelites. The Moabites said to the elders of Midian, "This horde is going to lick up everything around us as an ox licks up the grass in the field." I don't know why. It just sounds so funny. So Balak, son of Zippor, who was the king of Moab at the time, so we see Balak is the king of Moab, sent messengers to summon Balaam, son of Beor, who was at Pethor near the Euphrates River in his native land. Balak said, "A people has come out of Egypt. They cover the face of the land and have settled next to me. Now come and put a curse on these people because they are too powerful for me. Perhaps then I will be able to defeat them and drive them out of the land. For I know whatever you blessed is blessed, and whoever you cursed is cursed."
Like Abraham.
And that's what I was going to say. The last time we hear this phraseology was when we were in Genesis, and we hear Abraham, like God told Abraham, "Whoever blesses you, I will bless. Whoever curses you, I will curse." So it's kind of almost the same thing, just in a slightly different context. And then we see the elders left Moab, and the Midian king left, taking with them a fee for divination. When they came to Balaam, they told Balaam what Balak had said. And Balaam said to them, "Spend the night here, and I will report back to you with the answer the Lord gives me." So the Moabite officials say to him, so we see already Balaam saying, "Okay, I hear y'all, I hear your problem." And it's so interesting how they say, yeah, these people came out of Egypt. So like everyone in Canaan knew, or around Canaan knew, who the Israelites were and where they were.
So this has been happening around 40 years now, right? So 40 years ago, it was the big tale in Egypt. It's unlike anything they'd ever heard before, period. Then, along the way, they've had wars. They had wars when they was leaving. Some people tried to war with them. And now on their way back, they ran into a few people. You understand what I'm saying? And so everybody know the Israelites, and they know the Israelite God. What I wanted to point out here, though, is like, whoever Balaam blesses is blessed. Whoever he curses is cursed. But Balaam has no power. It's like when someone come to me and they ask me to make a poem or a song or some type of art form. I know that my creativity comes from God. You understand? I can attempt, but I can never guarantee you, or I can give you this fire verse or da-da-da-da-da. Now, you might like my caliber of art, so no matter what I do, you might think it's fire. But at the end of the day, it's coming from God. You feel me? And that's Balaam's demeanor now. He's like, "Man, just stay with me tonight, and I can let you know what God showed me, because I ain't even telling you no yes or no." And what people got to understand is, when Balaam was blessing and cursing these people, it wasn't like Balaam was saying, "Man, I don't like them, man, they curse." No. He only can curse who God allow him to curse. He only can bless who God allow him to bless. But from the outside looking in, the people who don't understand the Most High God, they just see this guy who is somewhat of a prophet pronouncing a blessing or a cursing, and then they see that come to pass, you know?
And there's one thing here is like, you gotta, like, just to paint the picture for people too, it's clear that Balaam, even though he had these he had these spiritual gifts, right? But we could see his heart, he was a prophet for hire. That's already not something we're used to seeing in the Bible. Can you see what the king of Moab said? "Oh yeah, send his divination fee." So now you're saying sending his payment. So now prophets were used to knowing that, oh yeah, you get this word from God, you're just gonna say it. Like, you can't really be charged for this. You have a message, you have to let it out.
Yeah, they had different motives.
So like, we see Balaam already, even though we had this connection with God, we could see where his heart was. He was more about the money already.
Yeah, he ain't even, like, he he opened to all of the jobs and ideas which y'all coming with. You understand what I'm saying?
Because it wasn't even like, oh yeah, like, and we gonna get a little bit more into it as we go on, but I just want to point that out.
And here's the thing though. It's funny because you serve the Most High God. This seems like a no-brainer that God is not going to allow this to happen. You understand what I'm saying? But he's saying, man, I open to the idea and I can see what I can do, like type of situation. But everyone knows these people serve the Most High God, and Balaam knows who the Most High God is, X, Y, Z. You should already know. No, that ain't happening. That's like someone come to me and they want me to help me fight one of my friends, help them fight one of my friends. No, that's not how. I ain't even got to think about it. Like, you's my boy and you want me to do this for you, but no, these my boys too. Like, I ain't doing that type of thing. But Balaam like, man, I try to get to the bag, man. Let me see if the Lord permits me to do this thing.
Yeah, so Balaam says, spend the night here, I will report back to you what the Lord answers. The Lord gives me some Moabite officials stay with him. So picking up in Numbers 22, verse 9. God came to Balaam and asked. We see God came to Balaam and asked, who are these men with you? Balaam said back to God, Balak, son of Zippor, king of Moab, sent this message to me. A people has come out of Egypt, covers the face of the land. Now come and put a curse on them for me. Perhaps I will be able to fight them and drive them away. But God said to Balaam, do not go with them. You must not put a curse on those people because they are blessed. So God already telling Balaam, these people are blessed. Don't go with them. So the next morning we see Balaam got up and he said to Balak's officials, go back to your own country, for the Lord has refused to let me go with you. So the Moabite officials returned to Balak and said, Balaam refused to come with us. So now we see the king sends some other officials. He sends more and more distinguished than the first. So now, you send your low-ranking officials. Now you're sending, I got to send the more articulate ones, the one who more skilled at negotiating, the ones who more persuasive.
The ones who got more say and more rank.
And the ones who pretty much can say, no, we getting this done. It's like when you send like a junior and he ain't get the job done, now the higher-ups got to come in now.
And bringing the big guns.
So the high officials went to Balaam and said, this is what Balak, son of Zippor, says. Do not let anything keep you from coming to me, because I will reward you handsomely to do whatever you say. Come and put a curse on me for these people. So what's so powerful in these two verses, right? Remember what Balak said before. The Lord has refused to let me go with you. The Lord. These officials, the lower ranking officials, reported this back to Balak. The new officials came and said, don't let anything stop you.
Yeah.
Like, that's what's so powerful with it, because Balak already said, the Lord stopped me from coming with you. Now these new officials saying, guess what? Don't even let the Lord stop you from coming with us.
See, because they put more stock into Balaam than they putting into where his powers come from. You understand what I'm saying? And that's what happens when people don't observe don't observe the Most High God, basically. Because if you're from a land and it's idols XYZ, you worship your idols, but to some degree, you know that your idols are inanimate objects. Deep down, that's what they are. But to the invisible God, they saying, man, if my God who I can see is nobody, your God might be nobody too, and you just doubting yourself, bro. You need to believe in yourself, bro. So listen to me good. Don't let nothing stop you, because I willing to do whatever you say. They say that. And they already say, I will reward you handsomely.
And that's the next thing I was going to point to. They upped the ante.
Right.
The first officials only brought the divination fee. So let's just say his little fee was, let's just say it was like $200. That's people saying, guess what? Your $200 fee ain't nothing. We throw 20 grand at you just for modern day times. We reward you handsomely for this. You usually make 200. We up in ante like 1,000%. Don't let nothing stop you from coming, because you want this money. Come and put a curse on these people for me. So now we see Balaam answered them, even if Balak gave me all the silver and gold in his palace, I could not do anything great or small to go beyond the command of the Lord, my God.
Yep. Ownership right there.
And we see again, Balaam knew what he was doing, and he had this connection with God, even though he was off the beaten path, for lack of a better word. And he liked money. You see, he owning this God. This ain't no the Israelites' God or the Hebrews' God is it right now. He's saying this is the Lord, my God.
God,
I worship this God too. And then he say, now spend the night here with me again, so I can find what else the Lord will tell me. So again, he already saying, I can't do this, but let me see if the Lord change his mind. That's what I getting from it. I don't know if you getting the same thing.
Say it again.
Like I saying, like, he's saying, he already say, I can't do anything great or small beyond what the command of my Lord. But let me, in verse 19, say, now I'll spend the night here so I can find out what else the Lord tell me. It's almost like he's saying, I already know I can't do this, but let me see if the Lord can change his mind.
Right. Let me see. No, because we can see this later on. Let me see if God give me some context to see what we could do. Like, I can't do this for you, but it might be some other loophole we could find. You understand? Let me see what the Lord really, really saying. Because but God already said he's my people. So that's a dud. But let's see to what extent, man. Let's see what we can make happen. Because at this point, bro, if you's a prophet for hire, and I like that phrase, prophet for hire, you're gonna turn away one of your biggest jobs or a job this big. I can't say if it's his biggest job or not, but you're gonna turn away something this big where someone say, bro, I giving you a blank check, write the amount on it. Like, we gotta try to see what we can do. We gotta try to see how we can make this happen. And then how good this could look on you in terms of if I need a favor from these people, I'll get this favor and all of these high-ranking officials gonna respect me, X, Y, Z. I gotta try and see how I can make this happen for sure. And I gotta talk about money too, though. You understand what I'm saying? Like I can't say to what extent Balaam like money, but it's like we was talking about this the other day, like how they say the love of money is the root of all evil. So if you love money, that could be the beginning. That could be all you need to do something evil, basically. You understand? It ain't the money itself, but if you love money to the point where money is persuade you, then it ain't too much things. It ain't nothing you ain't gonna do for money, basically. Or you ain't gonna allow for money. And so here it is. We see this guy. He knows God, and he knows what God stands for, and he knows what God is able to do. And God isn't able to do none of them stuff in this situation because these is people. That's like God going against God, essentially, because God is the reason why they in this, why the Israelites in this point of leverage. But he's still trying to say, man, let me reason with God. Let me really see if God can do something for me. And the only distinguishing factor we can see here is money. You understand what they saying? Money on whatever you say. So it's all for selfish gains. This ain't for no greater good or nothing. So that's Balaam right now.
So now we see in verse 20, that night God came to Balaam and said, since these men have come to summon you, go with them, but do only what I tell you.
See, God have another plan now. Because they know whoever they bless is blessed up, whoever you curse is cursed. And I ain't letting you curse, but just listen, just follow me. You understand?
So we see Balaam got up in the morning, saddled his donkey, and went with the Moabite officials. But God was very angry when he went. The angel of the Lord stood in the road to oppose him. Balaam was riding on his donkey, and his 2 servants were with him. When the donkey saw the angel of the Lord standing in the road with a drawn sword in his hand, it turned off the road into the field. Balaam beat it to get it back on the road. The angel of the Lord stood in a narrow path through the vineyards, and with walls on both sides. When the donkey saw the angel of the Lord, it pressed close to the wall, crushing Balaam's foot against it. Oh. So he beat the donkey again. The angel of the Lord moved on ahead and stood in a narrow place where there was no room to turn, either to the right or the left. When the donkey saw the angel of the Lord, it laid down under Balaam, and he was very angry and beat it with his staff. Then the Lord opened the donkey's mouth, and it said to Balaam, what have I done to you to make you beat me these 3 times? Balaam answered the donkey, you have made a fool of me. If only I had a sword in my hand, I would kill you now. The donkey said to Balaam, am I not your own donkey, which you have always ridden to this day? Have I been in the habit of doing this to you? No,
so he reasoned. They having a full-blown conversation.
And he didn't realize he's talking to the donkey.
No, not yet. And it's so funny because he's so mad. And he telling the donkey to his face, bro, if I had a sword, I'd kill you right now, bro. That's how mad he is. Because think about this, right? if I had a sword, I would have killed this donkey. But how I was gonna get where I was going? I'd have to walk. Just killing the donkey ain't helping your problem in no way.
No, and the thing is, bro, you still talking to the donkey. Like, you so mad you realize the donkey talking to you, answering the donkey, having a full-blown conversation.
Yeah, have I ever done this to you before? And you saying no. You reasoning with the donkey now, for real.
This man was talking to a donkey, bro. Like, it's just.
But this one I don't get, right? This one I don't get. So, and I think I do get it, but I can still go back. People come to Balaam, they say, hey, we want you to curse these people. Balaam say, all right, I can see what God's saying, right? God say, no. All right, next day, later on, they send more people. And he say, all right, I can see what God's saying again. And God's saying, hey, go with them, right? So now he going with them. And then they turn around and say, but God was very angry when he went.
Because what people gotta understand, right? Sometimes God says no to people because he loves them. And sometimes God says yes to the wicked because he wants to judge them.
Right. And so, and that's a theme that we've seen in Numbers. And it's so it's such a blessing that the Lord has revealed this to us, that Numbers, God giving everybody what they asked for. Oh, you want to go? Because you want to go so bad, bro.
You clearly want to go. And you can see Balaam like, got up early the next morning.
Yeah.
And he was like, okay, I'll be out.
And let me show you how bad he want to go. He want to go so bad that the angel standing right in front of him, but he have tunnel vision on this mission right now. You understand what I'm saying? And this mission, and it speaks to when you really lost in the sauce. Sometimes you could be in the middle of doing something you know you ain't supposed to be doing. Any little inconvenience, it make you so angry and so anxious because you're like, man, I just want to hurry up get this done. Like, I just want to get this done. You see what I say? And so the angel standing there, the donkey see the angel, the human didn't, right? So the donkey tried move. He moved, end up crushing his foot against the wall.
Bro, even before, keep on going.
No, but I'm saying he gets so mad. He start beating the donkey.
Because my thing is, bro, this donkey done saved your life 3 times.
Right.
This donkey, imagine this, you want olden days, so you want a farm, you essentially going through a field. You want the path. Field on both sides. Donkey see the angel in the middle of the field. Donkey said, guess what, bro? We going through this. We going through the wheat right now. I trying to spare your life. This there's no good thing coming if we go ahead. No good thing coming. He going through the field. So now he going through the next vineyard now. He see the angel again. What do he do? All right, we going. I crushing right in the side of the wall. So now you see the angel essentially lead the donkey down a pathway, but you can't go left or you can't go right. What the donkey do next? Right, just go lay down.
So watch this, right? This ain't no happy angel. Because the Bible say the donkey saw the angel standing with the sword.
Boy.
So you see.
Imagine it's a cherubim with a sword, like what God put in right in front of Garden of Eden.
Imagine a donkey having more sense than you. That's what I see.
And we know the next name for a donkey too.
Right. You understand? And that's the thing. So the A word, right? They call it donkey. That's the real name for it, right? But it's become a derogatory term because if you act like a donkey, that means you're an idiot, you're an oaf.
You're a fool.
Right. Yeah. So it ain't like a dumb person is named after the donkey. The donkey is named after it ain't like the donkey is named after the dumb person. A dumb person is named after the donkey. That's why if you call someone A word, you ain't really calling them an oaf or not. You saying they acting like a donkey who has characteristics as an oaf, X, Y, Z. So inadvertently, that's what you're saying.
And very stubborn too.
Very stubborn. Without no reasoning. You understand? Like what? Like, and that's the thing. And that's why I can understand I'm getting mad at this donkey. A donkey will be stubborn for no reason, right? So this donkey crushed my foot against this wall, and I can't see no clear reason, so I'm mad. But in this way, that's why they say God have a sense of humor, bro. And right now, to me, this something is a very laughable. And this is the story here we was alluding to earlier. The story of the talking donkey. Everybody know the talking donkey, but no one really know the story of Balaam. The talking donkey is more famous than the story of Balaam. Because people know that God allowed a donkey to spread a message. And the donkey is seen as the prophet in this. Because the donkey spreading the message of the Lord. But it was a literal prophet on the top of a donkey.
That's so true. Because I even have a talk where I did in college, right? But I essentially tell you, if God could use a donkey, God could use you.
Exactly. You remember that meme we did see? But it was like a potato, right? And it was like 20, 50 dishes, 20, 30, 40 dishes that they make out of potatoes. They had like scallop potatoes,
if God
French
could do this to a potato,
right? What you think?
Imagine what God could do to you.
If he could do this, but if he could do all that out of a potato, imagine what he could do out of you. That's what I say. And imagine what he could do out of a donkey. The Bible say if nobody prays God, the rocks gonna cry out. I paraphrase it. You understand what I'm saying? And so And this is a miracle. You understand? Where we see the Lord open the mouth of a donkey to open the eyes of Balaam. Because Balaam at this time, he was blinded by the opportunity that presented him.
And then, it's so funny how you pointed out how a donkey is usually so stubborn, right? Because we even see what the donkey said to Balaam. Am I not your donkey, which I've always ridden to this day? Have I ever been in the habit of doing this to you? So even despite you calling donkeys stubborn, you could something should clearly say, bro, something's up with this donkey, because this donkey this donkey don't behave like a normal donkey. This donkey almost behaving like a horse to me, particularly. Is what I get from this Bible. Like this donkey was saying, bro, this is out of my character. So you should know something. You should know something else going on.
This donkey saying, bro, I ain't an average donkey, bro.
Because we even see what Balaam could have said. No, this ain't like you.
And he was spawned. That's the crazy thing, bro. He's like, no, this ain't like you. I ain't gonna lie. So they having a full-blown conversation. The donkey saying, oh, because I getting beat now, bro.
Three times.
Let me reason with you. Hold on, whoa.
I'm getting tired of this.
Come on. He said, Balaam, come on. This me. This me, bro. Am I like this? No, Dread. You don't really like that for true. You understand? And it's so funny because he said, bro, what I do for you to beat me all these 3 times? Balaam said, hey, you lucky I beat you, bro. If I had a sword, I was killing you.
I was killing you.
That's so crazy, bro, because my thing, and we've been waiting on this story, I ain't gonna lie, bro, because there's been a lot of times when people was really just lost in the sauce in the Bible, bro. Balaam was caught in the middle of his wrongdoing. He was caught in the middle of his own gain and his own thing that he had going on, to the point where he was truly lost and he did not see the light. It was like, to me, this is like reminding me of the story of Paul on Damascus Road, when he was riding his horse and he was on the way to sign a bill to persecute even more Christians. And the Lord come and was like, why you persecute me, XYZ? So he was like, who are you, Lord? And God and Jesus introduced himself to Paul. The who wrote many books in the New Testament. And from there, God blinded him and tell him he will not see until he gets this location, and a prophet will open his eyes, XYZ. And to me, this is the same thing. You on the way to, in a hope to theoretically, or what's the word? Not literal, figuratively, possible to persecute the Israelites. You understand what I'm saying? Or to have the Israelites killed, right? And the Lord had to say, I have to blind you for you to see. I have to blind you for you to get this picture. And that's what he did. There was this big angel with a sword and not a smile on his face. It could have been a cherubim. It could have been anyone. And that's the thing. In the New Testament, even throughout the Old Testament, but in the New Testament, when people see angels, the angels just have to say, fear not.
Fear not.
Do not be afraid. Like, I know I scare you. I know this for a fact. Even when the Israelites just saw God on the mountain, they didn't see God for real. You understand? They see somewhat of the glory.
The glory.
You
and
understand?
it was too frightening for them. The thunder, the lightning, the fire. They was like, yeah, we can't take this.
They say, bro, you go up there because we could die. They feel like they're about to die. That's God. You understand? So an angel on a much lesser scale could carry some of those characteristics of being frightful, especially when it ain't something you ever see before, truthfully.
Especially when on a mission to kill you.
Right? and I think all of that,
on a piece of it.
all of that plus he on a mission to
Yeah,
kill
so
you.
he's like, yeah, you can fear me now, because this time, man.
I ain't coming for brunch, buddy. You understand what I say? We ain't coming to play.
Usually times when they say fear not, they come and bring in good news.
Right.
So, don't fear me, I got something good to say. This time he say, yeah, you can fear me. Motherfucker, I want you to fear me because you come any closer.
All right, watch this, right? Let's say someone never see an angel, right? Imagine anybody standing in the middle of the road with a sword.
That's
Anybody.
weird.
I'd be scared. You understand what I'm saying? Like just put into this term. Let's say someone standing with a gun or a knife. Anybody, no matter who you is. You could have a baby face. If you standing in my path with a gun, I thinking, something must go down. And it ain't something pretty.
How I about to get out of this one?
How we can get out of this? But it even worse when you ain't see it. When your animal, your steed seeing it and he trying to protect himself on you, and it causing you discomfort, but you ain't know it's saving your life. And I go back to the question, how a donkey smarter than you in this right now, bro?
And how you so mad you can't even see the miracle that the donkey is talking to you.
And it's funny because God giving you what you want, bro. He giving you what you want so you could see the whole picture of it. You could get a greater understanding, bro, because God have to show you right now, Balaam, you're a prophet of God, bro, and you obviously is well connected with God, and you've done things for God, but you ain't understand how serious God is. You understand? This might have been the first time as in your professional prophet career that you actually have to be in opposition to God. So you don't know what it feel like to be on the other side, but you find yourself trying to make deals with the other side. And so here we have it. In the middle of the pathway, his foot is just crushed. He in a full-blown conversation with this donkey.
And so now we see picking up in verse 31. The Lord opened Balaam's eyes, and he saw the angel of the Lord standing in the road with his sword drawn. So he bowed low and fell face down. The angel of the Lord asked him, "Why have you beaten your donkey these 3 times? I have come here to oppose you because your path is a reckless one before me. The donkey saw me and turned away from me these 3 times. If he had not turned away, I would have certainly killed you by now, but I would have spared it." So the angel saying, guess what? This donkey you beaten so much, spared your life because I was on a path to kill. You were not the donkey. You would have been there. The donkey still would have been alive because the donkey ain't do nothing wrong. The donkey only doing what you tell it to do. You tell it to lead you down to this path. This donkey would have still been there. You got up and saw the donkey and say, we got to go. This donkey did everything right.
I don't like getting punished while I doing the right thing, bro. I'm watching this donkey on this donkey field, bro. You beat me 3 times, bro. 3 times for trying to save our life.
You know the funny thing about it, because you know animals can act out too. 3 times the donkey ain't even fight back.
Yeah.
That's the fun, that's the great thing about it too, because the donkey can kick him.
The donkey could catch how to do it.
Kick him, bro. Kick him, spit on him, whop him with the tail.
I don't gotta take this. I don't gotta take this, bro. You only feed me food. You only pay me in food, bro.
And the donkey, because even like the last time to the donkey just lay down, bro.
Yeah.
Like
I don't know what to do.
Yeah, I don't want to mash your foot again because I'm trying to avoid getting beaten.
Right.
I just can lay down.
I just can lay down, but ain't nothing else I can do. Because if I go first, I can get killed, we can get killed. If I moved out the way and miss and hurt you, you can beat me. You can get beat. So, all right, I can just lay down.
And still get beaten.
Still get beaten. Now he's like, okay. I don't do it all, bro. I do this, it didn't work. I do that, it didn't work. I do nothing, it didn't work. Now stop, you got a reason now, bro.
How did the donkey cry out to God for help?
Lord, what is this?
What am I supposed to do?
What is this today?
I can see the angel. Can he not see the angel? Like, what's going on?
You can't see this big angel right in front of us?
And like, why can I see it and he can't see it?
He might have watching donkey say, Lord, please open my mouth so I can reason with this boy. Because he don't understand, bro. He got off the hair. What I gotta say. Like when Psalms say, give me my strength so I can die with the Philistines. Bro, open my mouth so I can reason with this man, bro.
Please.
He didn't know to give me strength so I can beat him back or something, man. Because he ain't understanding, man. Oh, that's sick. Wait, that's crazy, bro.
Oh my. Balaam said to the angel of the Lord, I have sinned. I did not realize you were standing in the road to oppose me. Now if you are displeased, I will go back. Now the angels of the Lord said to Balaam, go with the man, but speak only what I tell you.
I don't know where the man was this whole time, though.
I know, right?
Because remember, he said, you embarrassed me these 3 times because the donkey, you see what I saying? Because when I first read it, I hadn't, like, take into account that they was on a journey together. And he said, you embarrassed me? And I was like, if it's just me and you, how I can get embarrassed? I just mad, like, really. You understand what I'm saying? And
but for real, what it was, they did not see this whole thing happening. Like the time just freeze for Balak and Balaam and the donkey and the angel. Like, what's really going on?
Right. So it's one, they couldn't see the angel maybe, or 2, because he was with them, he might have been following them. You see what I'm saying? So they might have, like, as soon as they passed, that angel might have just come right in front of them. You know. But they surely would have had you, boy. It is donkey argument.
Like,
there might have been plenty of them, and they just didn't really know what's going on. Like,
because the Bible did say they sent like numerous ones of them like this time.
Yep.
Oh my. Where were we? Oh, verse 35. Verse 36. When Balak heard that Balaam was coming, he went out to meet him with the Moabite town on the Arnon border at the edge of his territory. Balak said to Balaam, Did I not send an urgent summons? Why didn't you come to me? Am I really not able to reward you? Verse 38, he said, well, I have come to you now, but I can't say whatever I please. I must only speak what God put into my mouth. You see, he comes down, like he finally get there now. You see his attitude a little bit more humble. He like, bro, I'm not going to be able to curse these people. You want me to do this, but it's probably not going to work out in your favor.
39. Then Balaam went with Balak to Kiriath Huzoth, Balak or Balak or whatever, sacrificed cattle and sheep, and gave some to Balaam and the officials who were with him. The next morning, Balak took Balaam up to Bamoth Baal, and from there he could see the outskirts of the Israelite camp. So he take him on a little tour, and then from there he say, see these people, you see how close they is to us, bro? They hot and ready, bro. Any day they could erupt and try to take us over or something.
And now we
about to hit Numbers 23.
23.
So Balaam said, build me 7 altars here and prepare 7 bulls and 7 rams for me. Balak did as Balaam said, and the 2 of them offered a bull and a ram on each altar. Then Balaam said to Balak, stay here beside your offering while I go aside. Perhaps the Lord will come to meet with me. Whatever he reveals to me, I will tell you. Then he went off to a barren height. God met with him, and Balaam said, I have prepared 7 altars. On each altar I have offered a bull and a ram. The Lord put a word in Balaam's mouth and said, go back to Balak and give him this word. So he went back to him and found him standing beside his offering with all the Moabite officials. Then Balaam spoke his message. Balak brought me from Aram, the king of Moab from the eastern mountains. Come, he said, curse Jacob for me. Come, denounce Israel. How can I curse those who God has not cursed? How can I, bro, imagine, right? Imagine I giving a speech, right? You come and you hire me to come here, and I giving a speech.
Ripping you
up. And I said, yes, shout out to Earl. He bring me from Moab with all of these officials, and he said, come curse Jacob for me. But how I can curse who God ain't cursed? You understand? How can I denounce those the Lord has not denounced?
Mercy.
Verse 9, from the rocky peaks I see them. From the heights I view them. I see a people who live apart and do not consider themselves one of the nations. Who can count the dust of Jacob or number even a fourth of Israel? Let me die the death of the righteous, and may my final end be like theirs.
And you know what's so funny? One can argue. Like, even, like you already talk about the part where we say, like, how can he curse who God has not cursed? But even like his final, like how we end this first oracle. Oracle is like a next word for prophecy. So you end this first prophecy. Let me die the death of the righteous, and may my final end be like theirs. He wants to die the death of the righteous, but we can see his lifestyle wasn't lining up with that of the righteous. The two go together. So you can't say, bro, I want this glorious death, but you was living the life that doesn't result, like you was living like a cowardice life. You know what I'm saying? Like the two go together. Like you can't say I want to die the death of a righteous, but I'm not living righteous. Like you can't. Like, but you see, like he say, I want to do this, but you know how to do it, but you ain't doing it.
Right. But I feel like at this point in time, he had the revelation that I was living wrong. You understand what I'm saying? Like I feel like when he, because he was about to die the death of the unrighteous by the angel a couple of days ago, and then it hit him like, no, bro. At the end of the day, ain't nothing these people could give me with more important than my salvation. And you see it firsthand and take a supernatural thing for him, and he like, no. I looking at this and I admire the righteous now, and I want to die like that, if anything. And then when I read this, bro, what I truly thought initially before you brought up that point, I thought that he was saying these words that I'm about to say, y'all probably gonna kill me for saying this. You understand what I'm saying? And if y'all can kill me for speaking in the words of God, that's the death of the righteous. So he basically saying, yeah, I want to die the death of the righteous, and I want my final end to be like this. So that's what I thought it as. Him just saying that y'all probably can kill me because of this.
So I just remember something from 2 Peter 2:10, right? 2:15. They left the straight way and wandered off to follow the way of Balaam, son of Beor, who loved the wages of the wickedness. He was rebuked for his wrongdoing by a donkey, a beast without speech, who spoke a man's voice and restrained the prophet's madness. Just showing he was living the life of his wrongdoings. He was living the life of the unrighteous. So like I just remember like Peter.
Yeah, Peter talk about Balaam.
Peter had a little Balaam mentioned.
Balaam is so interesting and so nuanced to me, bro. Like, was he a prophet or sorcerer or sinner?
They call him a prophet?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, bro. So
It's like, but we see his man had a legit connection with God. Like, he had this legit spiritual gift of prophecy.
yeah, but he used it
He
for
was
monetary gain.
He was using it for his own personal stuff. The mere fact you have a prophet that we know who was a prophet,
Who's getting money?
who's getting paid for this? Like, most prophets was either like hanging around the temple or something like I don't remember Samuel, who was Samuel had the biggest, I guess, ring, because he was like with Saul and David. You know what I'm saying?
But two big kings.
We never hear him get
Yeah, we ain't no payout for him. Like,
pay. I remember Jeremiah getting pay. I remember Ezekiel or Isaiah getting pay, or however you say your boy name, because people say I say it wrong.
No, I say Isaiah. Isaiah. That's how I say it.
I know someone hit me with a different pronunciation one time. I was like, whoa.
They say Isaiah in America. Isaiah.
Okay.
And when you read it, it's like, I can understand
I can see you got there, but you know.
Nah, I good with Isaiah though.
Yeah, like Revelation and Revelations.
Yeah, it's Revelations.
Yeah, but you know the Bible.
You know S there, but it's Revelations.
It's Revelations.
Just so you know. You know S in the Bible, but it's Revelations. Just saying.
Oh boy.
It's funny. It's really Revelation though.
It's really Revelation.
Oh, another one is Ecclesiastes.
Bro,
We say cities.
Bro, I know.
Bro, Ecclesiastes. We say that. Until I was listening to the audio, for me on a tangent now.
Yeah.
I was listening to the audio and it's like Ecclesiastes. And I was like, no, you're supposed to say cities, bro. Ecclesiastes.
But in my defense, when I was growing up, that word had too much consonants that just didn't belong
true.
in succession to me.
Yeah, it's too much. It's too much, bro. Like, and then another one, this is my last one. Like in the song Marching to Zion, we sing, we're marching through Emmanuel's grounds. But in America, they say, we're marching through Emmanuel's grounds. And I'm like, oh, I need them 2 extra syllables, bro. I need that UL. You feel me? But yeah, so we didn't know of all of those other names to be getting paid out. You understand what I'm saying? But here we have this guy, and it's so crazy to me because we was just talking about you can't serve 2 masters, either you love one or hate the other one, bro. You understand what I'm saying? And here it is, he was really trying to serve 2 masters.
He's trying to do both.
We could see one was really taking precedence over the other one because the money was making him keep going to God, like, God, give me another answer, like that, because essentially that's what he want. And God didn't slap up, you know. God could have taken that time and chastised him, and he say, no, this is a practical lesson you have. You know, in school, you have the theory and then you have the practical. He had to pass the practical now, bro. And so he was about to fail the practical. You understand what I'm saying? And then God had to show him, God used that time to teach him that lesson. And now he turned around and realized it's the righteous life what I want. I admire that type of thing, and I know I wasn't living like that, you know?
And so now we see, picking up in verse 13, Balak said to him, come with me to another place where you can see them. You will not see them at all. But
hold on. We didn't say verse 11, and this important. Balak said to Balaam, what have you done to me? I brought you to curse my enemies, but you have done nothing but bless them. He answered, must I not speak what
the Lord puts in my mouth?
Right.
So now in verse 13, then Balak said to them, come with me to another place where you can see them. You will not see them all, but only the outskirts of their camp. And from there, curse them for me. So he took them to the field of Zophim on the top of Pisgah, and there he built 7 altars and offered a bull and a ram on each altar. So now we see Balak was like, okay, you know what? You maybe need to see more of them to curse them. Like, you maybe I need to show you from a different vantage point. So now let's go here. So now you only can see the outskirts of their camp, but you know, let's try this again. So now you see they run the same setup again, 7 altars, 7 bulls and 7 rams again. Then Balaam said to Balak, stay here beside your offering while I go meet with him over there. The Lord met with Balaam and put a word in his mouth and said, go back to Balak and give him this word. I like Balaam's memory too, because your boy just was orating very everything. Okay, anyway, so verse 17. So he went to him and found him standing by his offering again with the Moabite officials. Balak said to him, what did the Lord say? Thinking something's going to change. And then Balaam spoke this oracle, "Arise, Balak, and listen. Hear me, son of Zippor. God is not a human that he should lie, not a human being that he should change his mind." And you see why that's so important, because one could argue that, oh yeah, God changed his mind and let Balaam go with the man. We see it, but God saying God is not a man that he should lie, not a human being that he should change his mind.
And this is an important lesson to Balaam, to Balak, because he thinking, all right, if we go on this side and you see it from a different you see, all right, so you get the good view. Now let me give you a bad view, because you might change your mind. But he like, God ain't no man, you can't, just because you send me here and this might look more dirty, or they might look not as prestigious from this angle. God can influence someone maybe, but not God. You understand? He ain't changing his mind, and he ain't lying neither. You feel me?
And does he speak and then not act? Does he promise and not fulfill? I have received a command to bless. He has blessed, and I cannot change it. And even taking a step back from the whole Balaam situation right now, and even looking at us, those, I guess, three lines in succession, or 2 verses, however you want to look at it, that's powerful for us too. Like, God is not a man that he should lie, not a human being that he should change his mind. Does he speak and then not act? Does he promise and not fulfill? Does he promise and not fulfill? Like all the promises that we have in the Bible that God promised us, does he not fulfill them? Or do we not think are we not worthy of them being fulfilled? Because God's already saying, if I make you a promise, I am going to fulfill it. If he told you, I have a plan for you, a plan for you that you can be prosperous, he's going to fulfill it. If he told you he's never going to leave you or forsake you, he is going to fulfill it. Like, he is not a human being. I think so much people have been hurt in today's society. So much people are being hurt by different circumstances in life, by people close to them who have let them down, and they try to project this on God. And God's saying, no, I am not a human being that I should lie. I'm not a human being that I should change my mind. Like, you trying to say that I have all these human characteristics, but I'm different. You know what I'm saying? Like, whatever I say isn't going to change. If I already promised you these things, and I already told you you're blessed. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to change it. So I think just taking a step back from the story, that's a powerful line even from us. I know it was crazy too. Like, I didn't even know this line was in Numbers,
Yeah,
I always would have thought this was like in Isaiah or Ezekiel or like Jeremiah or something. I thought it was going to come from like one of the major prophets. But that's the next thing. Like, we get this big line.
That's a big line.
We get this big line, this big promise from what some would argue was a false prophet. And like, just let that sink in. Like, I would have legitimately thought this was found someplace else in the Bible, because even when I was studying this week, I was like, oh snap, this is Numbers? I'm like, this can't be in Numbers. I'm like, you telling me Balaam was the first one who said this? Like, man, that's powerful. But this shows, like, if God could use a donkey, he could use you. But here's the thing, if God can use anybody to bring about good.
Because he was obviously using Balaam.
That's what I'm saying. Like, he can use anybody who to bring about good. He can use anybody to bless you in ways you're not expecting. Because now, who would have thought Balaam, a prophet for hire, who still had these spiritual gifts and who was in tune with God, would be the one who was there originally to try to come and curse these people, would utter such a blessing upon them and such a reassurance that we can use in today's day. Like, just remind us that God is not a human that he should not lie, that he should lie. God is not a human being that he should change his mind. And just remind us, does he promise us anything and he does not fulfill it? Like, man, that was powerful. It just hit me like when I was studying this week. So, okay, I guess I'll keep going.
It's cooking though.
In verse 21, no misfortune is seen in Jacob, no misery observed in Israel. Oh my, forgive me, but like, let's think about this now. Let's think about what the children of Israel were doing up to this point. Right there in the valley of Moab, or on the outskirts of Moab, they're bickering. They're complaining. They're complaining about all their misfortune. Oh, we don't have enough food. Oh, we this and that. Oh, we need more water. Balaam's on this mountaintop. Well, on this plateau now, because ain't no whatever. But they're on this plateau saying, no misfortune is seen in Jacob, no misery observed. And to me, that's even powerful. The children of Israel are in the valley complaining and bickering. God's on the mountaintop saying, and my prophets up there saying, yeah, y'all ain't got no misery. No misery is found in y'all. Yep. No misfortune is seen in them.
Reasoning on their behalf.
Like, that's so powerful. Like, God's still blessing them, even when all they're doing is complaining and crying out and shouting out and just causing, well, I shouldn't say causing Moses, but adding a little bit more gray hairs to his head.
Right, and it's only Moses now because his brother and sister done passed away.
Mercy.
Yeah, bro, and it go to show how God is giving you grace when you don't deserve it too, though.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean that's mercy. You understand what I'm saying? Mercy, where He gives you grace and mercy, no lie. And then one could argue who deserves it. You understand what I'm saying? But some people double down on their lack of, deserving stuff. And here we have God still fighting for you, no matter what. And it's like Samson was in the Philistine camp, right?
Mm-hmm.
He was in the house of a harlot. I imagine he was not having Bible study in that house. But when the Philistines came, he was still able to be filled with the Holy Spirit and fight and still have his strength. Even when you're in the midst of it, God's still showing you grace and mercy. Balaam was in the midst of trying to travel to curse the Israelites. And God could have let the donkey throw him off and then run away or something. You understand what I'm saying? And then he ended up getting killed by himself. And let's say he did have his sword. It's a good thing he didn't, because he would have killed the donkey, finish on foot, and he would have got killed.
Walk? He would have walked to his death.
He would have walked into that. You understand what I'm saying? And so,
boy.
truly, and that's my thing. That's my thing, because just being transparent, dog. Last night in the middle of the night, I couldn't go on to sleep, right? Couldn't go on to sleep. And I was feeling bad like yesterday, so I go on to get something to eat, right? It's like late in the night. I pull up a Taco Bell. As soon as I go on the line, I feel the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit say, bro, on the Sabbath, but to break the Sabbath. You understand? And let me tell you why that's so powerful, because I just make a habit before I come in on Friday to get whatever I need for Saturday day. You see, yesterday I go on to buy grits because if I eat grits tomorrow morning, like you see they saying XYZ, I'm gonna run out. But I pulling up at this thing and I boy, you got food right in the house, dog. You understand what I'm saying? And I was so conflicted, and I still go on and buy it. And when I pull out a Taco Bell yard, right? A sheriff like pull up the corner too, right behind me, right? And I right there eating my burrito, driving home, and I say, "Oh Lord, look at this police about to bother me, dread." Right, because God was telling me you need to leave Taco Bell right now. I trying to save you because of this, right? But the police wasn't on my run. The police go on about his business. I make it home safely. When I get in the car, this car that ride past, and I was paranoid, bro. But something bad but to happen to me because I do this. Nothing bad happened to me. Because at the end of the day, even though I was in the midst of my sin, God was still in the midst of protecting me no matter what. You understand what I'm saying? And so the Israelites could be down in Moab right now complaining all type of thing, but it's a God on top of this hill fighting on their behalf. It's people who just want the word to come and kill them. You understand what I'm saying? But God fighting. That's why when people pray, they say, Lord, thank you for the things thank you for the things you saved from me seeing and non-seeing. You understand? Because it's a lot that's be going on behind the scenes that you'd never know. I wrote a poem. I started to write a poem one time, and I was complaining about my work. This frustrations that I have with my work, and I had to stop, and I say, imagine how my guardian angel feel, have to go to work every day. This is a sinless being and protect me, a sinful being. You see what I'm saying? And I don't know if a guardian angel is a real thing, but metaphorically, imagine how Jesus feel every day, have to put in the work to save me and protect me and everybody in the world, knowing that today I ain't thinking of God once today. I might pray or random, thank you for this meal type of thing. You understand what I'm saying? But my day might be full with sin, but they still have to come to work every day. And I just go to show the type of love that God have. If you get suspended from school, your mom ain't gonna say you ain't eating today. She's still feeding you every day, taking care of your basic needs, regardless if she's disappointed in you or not. You understand what I'm saying? Because she loves you. You understand what I'm saying? And it's the same way how God look at us. I love you. I still taking care of your needs. And that's a misconception a lot of people have with sin. You feel me? A lot of people feel like God, like this petty guy, you sin and he turned his back on you. But no, it's something called grace and it's something called mercy. And we can see that exemplified right now in Numbers, the book right after Leviticus that people think is a book of condemnation, XYZ. We see in the next one, we have this guy Balaam who was lost in the source, who was doing a bunch of stuff for money before, but God still showed him grace. And God used him to be the mouthpiece while he's showing the Israelites grace. And we don't see, there's a lot of grace God done show them. And a lot of times when he didn't show them grace. You understand what I'm saying? And so I feel like that's just an interesting piece in its own.
And so we see still in verse 21 in chapter 23, the Lord is their God. The Lord their God is with them. That even harkens back to what we were saying. The Lord their God is with them. And the shout of the king is amongst them. God brought them out of Egypt. They have the strength of a wild ox. There is no divination against Jacob, no evil omens against Israel. It will now be said of Jacob and of Israel, see what God has done. The people rise up like lioness. They rouse themselves like a lion. That does not rest till it devours its prey and drinks the blood of its victims.
You see how they look at, you see how they view the Israelites? Like, you see like how, not how they view, but how the Israelites is to be described, bro. Like, that's crazy. Because, I mean, just for 40 years ago, it was like, no, man, these people too big, man. Like, yeah, we can't beat them XYZ. Now they looked at as the people who was just devour their prey.
This shows how God has already worked wonders and miracles through them already. And then Balak said to Balaam, neither curse them at all, nor bless them at all. Like, I need you to stop that.
Just shut up, bro.
Balaam said, did I not tell you I must do whatever the Lord says? Now in verse 27, then Balak said to Balaam, come, let me take you to another place. Perhaps it will please God to let you curse them for me from there. And Balak said to Balaam, the top of Peor, Balak took Balaam to the top of Peor, overlooking the wasteland. Balaam said, build me 7 altars again and prepare 7 bulls and 7 rams. I don't want to say there's a lot of bulls and rams getting sacrificed because God ain't changing his mind on vain, but that's just...
I want you to know Balak is very desperate.
Clearly
desperate. I mean, bro, who wouldn't be desperate if the man who you call the curse say, the people rise like a lioness, they rouse themselves like a lion. That does not rest till it devours its prey and drinks the blood of its victims.
But my thing is, right? It's like Balak can't really understand what Balaam tell him.
No.
Because Balaam just said, God is not a man that he should change his mind.
Exactly.
God is not and God's not a human that he should lie.
But Balak said,
maybe if I take you in the next place, God will let you curse them for me from there.
See, because now he accepting the fact that it ain't Balaam who doing this at his will. It's God, right? But he's saying, let's change God's mind now. Maybe let me see what I can do for God.
And so now in chapter 24, verse 1. Now Balaam saw that it pleased the Lord to bless Israel. He did not resort to divination as the other times, but he turned his face towards the wilderness. When Balaam looked out and saw Israel encamped tribe by tribe, the Spirit of God came on him and he spoke this message. Now I just want to paint the picture for people to understand what's really happening. So now he's at the top of this mountain now, right? He looks down in the valley. And we already described how the children of Israelite were laid out in the valley, tribe by tribe. So when you say tribe by tribe, we had the tabernacle in the middle, the Levites surrounding the tabernacle. Then you had in the 4 cardinal directions, the tribes of Israel specifically laid out. You can go back and read Numbers, I think it's 3, on how they were laid out. But essentially, they're in the shape of a cross. He's looking down. He's seeing this. The whole camp laid out, tribe by tribe. And now this is the message he spoke. This is the prophecy of Balaam, son of Beor. You see, this is prophecy. We see in the Bible even so. He ain't even tried doing this fancy other tricks I used to do a lot other times. He said, you know what? That I already see that it had pleased the Lord to bless these people. So now I'm just going to bless the Lord. You see, this is the prophecy of Balaam. The prophecy of one whose eyes see clearly. The prophecy of one who hears the words of the God, who sees visions from the Almighty, who falls prostrate and whose eyes are opened. How beautiful are your tents, Jacob, your dwelling places, Israel. Like the valleys they spread out, like the gardens besides the river, like aloes planted by the Lord, like cedars besides the waters. Water will flow from their buckets, and their seed will have abundant water. Their king will be greater than Agag. Their kingdom will be exalted. God brought them out of Egypt. They have the strength of a wild ox. They devour hostile nations and break their bones in pieces. With their arrows they will pierce them. Like a lion they will crouch and lie down. Like a lioness who dares to rouse them. May those who bless you be blessed, and those who curse you be cursed. An exact quote from when God blessed Abraham. And we see now, and to me, like this third article was so powerful because we see now Balaam's like, He himself had the revelation now. Even we see how 25 start out, you see, it pleased the Lord to bless these people. And we started like, yo, my eyes have been open. You know what I'm saying? This is the prophecy of one who hears the words of God, the one who sees the vision of the Almighty. Because you see what's different than the other times too. The other two times you see God put the words in Balaam's mouth. Realize that's conveniently missing this time too. We see like, this is actually Balaam himself. Blessing now. Like, he's like, yeah, I've seen the error of my ways now for sure. God ain't got to tell me what to say this time. This is actual prophecy, you know what I'm saying? But like, I shouldn't say actual prophecy. The other ones were like, you know, you get what I'm trying to say. So now, and it's so funny, like, we see this Balaam's prophecy, but it's still an exact quote from what God promised Abraham years ago. Jacob, Israel, the Israelites, whoever blesses you will be blessed, and whoever curses you will be cursed. And guess what? You know who blessing you right now? Me. So Lord, you know, don't leave me out. Oh my! We see Balak's anger burned against Balaam. He struck his hands together. I was like, did he clap? Like, when you strike your hands together, what happens? When I read that, I try to get a visual. I try to put myself down. Like, he strike his hands together. I'm like, so he just had a big clap in anger. Anyway, that's neither here nor there, right? And he said to him, I summoned you. I was just picturing him like, just clap it. I summoned you to curse my enemies, but you have blessed them these 3 times. Now leave at once and go home. I said I would reward you handsomely, but the Lord has kept you from being rewarded. Balaam answered Balak, did I not tell your messengers you sent me? Even if Balak gave me all the silver and gold in his palace, I could do nothing of my own accord, good or bad, to go beyond the command of the Lord. And I must say only what the Lord says. Now I'm going back home to my people, but come let me warn you of what these people will do to you in the days to come. I see Balaam say, all right, you won't pay me? That's your business. I already tell you this. But now since you and Simeon along your way, you bring me up, let me give you the bad news.
Yeah, we can play hardball now.
I was like, you got to realize prophecies come in two ways, the good and the bad. Right. They get all the good, but trust me, the curse that you wanted, here it is. Right. Then he spoke this message. This is the prophecy of Balaam, son of Beor, the prophecy of one whose eyes see clearly, the prophecy of one who hears the words of the God, who has knowledge from the Most High, who sees the vision from the Almighty. But he have a long intro, bro. Title, buddy. Who falls prostrate and whose eyes are open. I see him, but not now. I behold him, but not near. A star will come out of Jacob. A scepter will rise out of Israel. He will crush the foreheads of Moabs, the skulls of all the people of Sheath. Edom will be conquered. Seir, his enemy, will be conquered, but Israel will grow strong. A ruler will come out of Jacob and destroy the survivors of the city. So we kind of know what that's foreshadowing too. How you want to get into that? Y'all know who the star coming out of Jacob is. Whose scepter will rise out of Israel. Anyway. You know. And verse 20. Then Balaam saw Amalek, who spoke his message. Amalek was the first among the nations, but their end would be utter destruction. Then he saw the Kenites, and he spoke his message. Your dwelling place is secure. Your nest is set in a rock. You Canaanites will be destroyed when Ashur takes you captive. Then he spoke his message. Alas, who can live when God does this? Ships will come from the shores of Cyprus. They will subdue Asher and Eber. They too will come to ruin. Then Balaam got up and returned home, and Balak went on his own way. He ended with a bank. Okay, you get cursed. Yeah, you get cursed. You get cursed. You get cursed. You get cursed. All y'all thought I was going to come here to curse the Israelites. Joke's on you.
Nope. And so, once again, we see where God is giving people what they want. The Canaanites wanted Balaam to come with a message, because who you bless is who you bless, who you curse is who you curse. Balaam God already showed them it ain't happening, but they insisted. Balaam insisted. So everybody get what they wanted. Balaam got to go. The Canaanites got to hear a message. It wasn't a favorable message in any way for them, but they all got what they wanted. And so just overall, I just feel like this is a very necessary story for several reasons, right? the first thing is, it tells a story of grace, how the Lord works on our behalf, his people, even when we ain't acting right, you know, and that's something not to be discounted, because some people feel so guilty when you ain't living right with God. That's when people just really want to hide from God the most, but God ain't catching feelings like how humans is catch feelings. Even though we disobey God and disrespect him and hurt him, he is still the prophet he is still the shepherd who would leave the 99 for that one sheep. That's something we should always remember. Another thing is, if God could use a donkey, if he could use Balaam, he could use you. The joke would we mentioned, if he could do all of those, if you could do all these things out of potatoes, what you think God could do out of you?
Amen.
Understand? And that's a fitting message that Balaam had to learn, that the Canaanites had to learn, and that we all are able to learn and to celebrate. There is no king, no prophet, no army that can destroy God's chosen people. And this was a lesson that Balaam, Balak, and his officials had to learn the hard way. There was only one thing that could defeat the Israelites, and that thing was the Israelites. But we'll talk more about that next week as we conclude the book of Numbers on the next episode of A Breath of Fresh Air. Tonight's episode included voice acting by Dominic McFall, as well as your hosts, Earl Roberts and Nakhaz. Remember to go ahead and research on your own in order to get a more firm understanding of tonight's episode. And if you enjoyed it, make sure to like, subscribe, and share with your friends. You can follow us on social media at A Breath of Fresh Air Pod on Instagram and BOFAPOD on Twitter. Thanks everyone, and we'll see you next week.